Hello, welcome back to my channel. It's Antoinette and this is the Total Tarot parts 54 and 55 and flip through of the magazines and walk through or flip of the cards so you can see what's in there. It has come with the Pagan Tarot. As always, I've opened it and popped it in the box so that the cards are safe. I'll do them at the end. It has come with the two kings from my Golden Art Nouveau deck. So we have the cups and the wands. Let me just get the rest of the deck, which I keep in the bag that came with the Total Tarot subscription. It's one of the cards of the Golden Art Nouveau, I do believe. Yes, it's that one. A few. It's been a while. I forget. And my box is filling up nicely, as you can see now. So I've got quite a few. So obviously it started with the Major Arcana, and then every episode, or every double episode, you got two cards, or I think it must be one card per magazine. And we ended with the queens, and now we have our kings. So I'll just make sure I put them in the right order because I think I mixed them up. So it should be wands, then cups. Two kings left to go, and my pack is complete. And then, thank God, they're actually giving out a decent deck for the last one, because there's been a couple that some of you have picked up on that I've been less enthralled with. And quite a few that I will never play with or touch. They're just in my collection at this point in time. And the one I'm going to do today is actually one of those. So there've been a lot of sameys in here for me, considering the Total Tarot Lo Scarabeo magazine is so wide and varied. That's my reason for my kind of thoughts and views, which of course are mine and mine alone, personal. Right then. So in here we come straight in, and we have involving the querent. So close collaboration between reader and querent is likely to result in a more useful interpretation. Very true, because the cards are so varied. You can have so many interpretations per card, depending on the situation, the question, the moment that we're in, the thoughts, the feelings. So many other things that can come into this, which is why it's better to have a conversation running rather than trying to read for somebody in silence. Unless, of course, you're doing a kind of, you're testing yourself, your skills, your reading ability, or you're doing an email reading for somebody, or, a video recording for somebody. So therefore you can't have that two-way conversation. But in general, I would say this helps, because you might hit on three, you might intuitively get three hits for what that card means in that moment. And in order to tell a story, you might pick on one, but the other two might have actually been really important. So that's why I agree with that bit. Here we have some, so the right questions, and it talks about what this card picked. Mood changes. The 10 of Cups on the left shows a positive flow of energy, while the Knight of Swords on the right displays fierce expression. So here's our positive energy with our fierce expression kind of going in the opposite direction. What do the images symbolize? So your reader could ask the querent what the scene on the card represents. This question delves more deeply than the previous one because it encourages querents to make sense of the events and actions. So asking them what they see in the card to see what they pull out. It's almost like a therapy tool in some respects, isn't it? So therapists use those ink splots. Can't for the life of me remember the actual professional names of them. They have professional cards that they use, which you project yourself into the card and you tell them about. So it's very much doing the same sort of thing here. So it's like a kind of psychotherapy-esque bit by asking them to tell you what they're seeing in the cards. And I guess then you expand on that, how to make you think, feel, touching on other things. Card in detail is our Four of Wands. Time to celebrate. Tranquility, celebration, detail, peace, stability, rest, harmony, concord. Prosperity, peace, achievement, domestic bliss, solid, form, joy, spontaneity, freedom and blessings. Some of the keywords that you may or may not choose to use for your Four of Wands. I think mine are far less or more concise than this. I definitely see this as celebrations. I see this one for unions, and I also see this one's for, I suppose, like a harmony because of the four, stability. And then the rest sort of comes depending on how I'm reading with the rest of the cards around it. I don't instantly pull out all of those words, but there are some very good words to stick in your journals. Here we have the thematics for personal life, divination, answers, psyche and soul, and we have what the card shows us. So it talks about what's in the card and what we're seeing on the one that we've just shown, or this one upright. We have questions. We have different types of cards here. So we're still showing the Worth, the Angels, Tarot and Klimt. Those two would have been nice to have got in the total tarot. So what do we have? We have question, and then we have lessons, and then correlations, which I've quite enjoyed having in here. So number 4, Sephira Chesed for mercy. Element is fire, planet is Venus, sign is Aries, and the esoteric name is Lord of Perfected Work, which links you into your Deacon's Walk. If I haven't said that in any of the previous videos. Better late than never. So we have the Lo Scarabeo here. So this one shows very clear celebration. We have our dressing up for the Nefertiti's Tarot. Blessings in the Pagan Tarot. We have sharing the happiness for the Fae Tarot. That's a lovely card. The Runic Tarot, we have time to party. We have a mystery in the known road for the Shaman Tarot. Looks like it's coming up, part 60 and 61. Walking the Long Road, Tarot of the Dark Grimoire. And Tarot of the White Cats, Need for Harmony. Of course, we already have that one. Okay, we've got a past life spread. Oh, interesting. That'd be really cool to play with and try. I won't be doing that on camera because it's a big one. It's 9 cards. Major and minor arcana. Discovering details of past life and understand the impact on the present. Laying out 2 rows of cards parallel to each other. So 5 for the top and 9 for the bottom. I think it's touching on things like reincarnation, preparing, positioning the cards, interpreting. Past lives. So just so you know for the placements, if you aren't able to read that very well. Position 1, past life. Position 2, the goal in the previous life. Position 3, the obstacle in the previous life. Position 4, a life lesson. Position 5 is the verdict. 6 is the new mission. 7 is the current goal in life. 8 is the current obstacle, and 9 is the current incarnation. And when I say incarnation, let's just expand on what this one says. Incarnation by means of a quality or characteristic that clearly describes them. Just like card 1 regarding their previous incarnation, when seeing this card, the reader thinks this is who the querent is now. So incarnation, who you are now, past life is who you were. And we have some information here about the tarot for our library. We have the majors meanings here. Created in 2004 by the American Wiccan priestess Gina M. Pace to represent a modern Wiccan or pagan's life experienced through the tarot, as the deck is deeply rooted in specific spiritual and religious path. The experience includes all the aspects of a person's daily life, the deck message, emotional path, religious beliefs. Real challenge in the modern world is balancing the journey with our everyday lives. Okay, I'm not going to read any more of that. It's making me feel like the Witch's Tarot, like perhaps those two will go together, but that's why I feel like we didn't need another one. I already had the Witch's Tarot, which is an excellent deck as well. We have, that must be some of the cards there. So we have Element, Novice, Initiate, and Elder. That's our court cards. I'm going to forget that. Element is Page, Novice is Knight, Initiate is Queen, Elder is King. But we're seeing it pass through the female, kind of Mother Maiden Crone, really, is what it feels like to me. And we have the Minor Arcana, Cups, Wands, Pentacles, the numbers, court cards. Okay, that's interesting. And then we have the pictorial there. Those backs going to match one of my favourite oracle decks. Okay, I'm going to keep that one to one side. There's nothing else on the back that's of any interest, I don't think. Other than maybe that image and that deck there that's coming, which is the one that I am actually the most excited about. That one. As well as completing my deck. Once I've done that, I can revise whether or not I'm going to keep the subscription going, because if there's going to be more decks like this, I won't be. So here we go. 55 esoteric meanings in astrology. So we've got the Zodiac Tarot with parts 64 and 65. Yeah, I'll have to see. I'll go and find what that deck is. Might not have my interest. The point to these, though, is the actual the information that the magazines contain. For me, is far more valuable. Combining tarot with knowledge of astrology can lead to powerful insights, which will probably take you down that deck and walk. So this looks like the astrology tarot here. So we've got some very nice pictures on it. 9 is the Hermit. I'm not seeing anything in there to tell me what that links to in astrology for the Hermit, though. If that's a Zodiac Tarot. Unless it's supposed to be that. Interesting. Okay, so we have astrology and tarot, astrological meanings, finding meaning in your card, zodiac basics, and the houses. I mean, the houses are quite important, but then it depends on what type of astrology you're following. Now that I've learned a bit more about astrology, I've always been Western based. Then I hear there's a sidereal astrology, and then I hear there's also a true sidereal astrology, a real sky astrology, the Vedic, the Chinese. I mean, one for the equator. I can't remember what that one's called. But yeah, there's so many. Egyptian astrology. How do you know which one you're going to use? Big question. Card in detail, 5 of Wands. So passion, action, agitation, conflict. I mean, conflict is always a good one for the 5 of Wands. Here we have our symbols, and then thematics, what the card shows us, our questions and things, of course, upright and reversals. And the fact that it's Gibberah for strength, it's fire, Saturn, Leo, and Lord of Strife off the Deacon wheel. And then for the cards at the bottom, on the Lo Scarabeo Tarot, it represents disagreement. That's a nice word to use. By the way, I've never really talked about it. That's why I read the bottoms, because it's where you get some other really good keywords for what your cards can mean. That might mean more to you than the one in the pages previous. The Pagan Tarot, we have disharmony, we have challenge for Neferatu. The John Bauer Tarot, we have rising above chaos for our deck Fae. We have collaboration and challenge. Our Tower of the Doors, actually quite like that deck. Ambition against all obstacles. And our Dark Grimoire, Clash of Intentions. The Shaman, it's listening to powerful voices. And then we have Past Lives 2. Well, it's not really 2, is it? It's second part to the reading, as in it's the interpretation of the cards that it put out. So it goes through them all so you can do the same thing. What deck is it using? I don't know what deck that is. I'm presuming it's one we've already had. It's a pip deck. I mean, maybe it's in here. Perhaps it is this deck. No, it's the Medieval Tarot, parts 50 and 51. Oh, I must have it. I just haven't used it. Actually, yes, I did like that tarot deck. No, I haven't used it. Has so many other new decks in, I haven't had a chance to. Assessing questions, so helping you assess questions. So you've got everyday events, practice reading, significant situations, picking the right spreads for your questions, and careful interpretation of what you've got. So when you want to learn something new, casual questions will be very valuable indeed. And I have a book full of questions that I took off the internet, off various, tarot challenges. I just filled a diary for like 365 one a day questions, and that's how I used to get to know my decks, and by asking those random questions out of that book, because I can never think of them on the spot. I can never think of a question. Here we have the World of Tarot, the English Masters, Part 2. Hermetic Order of the Golden Dawn would have the most profound effect on the modern understanding of tarot. There's probably a lot of really good information in here. I'm not going to read it all out. But obviously these two decks were created around the same time by two people who I think were both members of the Golden Dawn, if my memory is serving correctly. However, the Thoth deck, originally created by Levi, didn't look like this. Didn't hold all of this association in it. And it didn't look like this, and it didn't hold all this association in it. So it was a conversation I was having with somebody on chat the other day, and where did all of this stuff come from that got layered into these cards from that first original Thoth deck, or the Book of Thoth? This didn't exist. So this has been put in at some point. So just understanding as history changes and as things change and as language changes, so does our understandings of what we're looking at and our interpretations. But that's just like a little bit of a question that's sat in my head upstairs, wondering what's going on with the world and what's going on with the tarot, and why everyone gets their knickers in such a knot when you challenge such questions. Right, here we go. The Pagan Tarot. We are in the world of Aquarius after all, so, I've got to be a little bit scientific about some of my questions. So we have title card. Here are the backs. This will go with the Witch's Oracle by what's her name? I want to call her Lisa. Is she called Lisa? It's on Amazon. It's a really good oracle. So I think this will link straight into it. So let's take a look at what we got before my washing machine goes into full spin mode. I might have missed it already. Right, so we have the Fool. We have a cat instead of a dog. I just genuinely don't like this cartoony imagery in this deck for some reason. I don't know why, because I have decks like this. For some reason, this one really doesn't hit the mark for me. High Priestess, so it's more coven based. Here we have the Empress. That's quite nice, sowing seeds. Our Emperor. That's very curious. Sort of holding court, allowing you in. The Hierophant. Burning of books. Lovers. Here we have the Chariot, broken down. What direction are you heading in? Strength, that's quite nice with the nature. Hermit, burning the oils into the wee hours of the night, and our wheel on the World Wide Web. Justice. The Hanged One, so a different perspective, I guess, more of initiation really there though, isn't it? Allowing yourself to be blindfolded. Death, so taking the blindfold off into the rebirth of whatever it is this person's been initiated into. Here we have our Temperance in the Office. The Devil, ghosts, look, things haunting you, possibly even ancestors, isn't it? Holding you back. The Tower, that's a bit saucy. The Star. The Moon. That one's nice. I like that one. We have our crayfish at the bottom. Here's our Sun. Judgment. Looks like a Akashic Records or a past lives kind of meditation. Here we have the World. What have we got here? Like little fairies and sprites jumping around. That's quite interesting. And then we are into the Cups. So let me just shut the door a second. Two of Cups. Having conversation with herself by looks of it. 3. That's a nice one. 4. I mean, she's in solitude, but actually I would say, that's quite a nice setup, isn't it? picnic by yourself, big favourite tree to rest upon. That's more stable than I'm grateful. Here we have a 5. So somebody's picking up the spilt milk, helping her up. Somebody had too much to drink. They are some very big gobblers, by the way. Okay, that's nice. Meditation. Calling in. Like she's kind of calling in her wishes, isn't it? Here's our 8. All her cups are empty. She's out. 9, that we see this depiction a lot, don't we? Like in an apothecary type place, picking something off the shelves. Here's our 10. And page. Knight. Queen. And king. Pentacles. Sorry, that's like The Shining. Outside the House of Amityville. Here's our 3. Bringing the power. Power of 3. 4 of Pentacles. Pre-Page and Phoebe, Charmed. 5 of Pentacles. What are we queuing up for help with? The bank? Money? Loan, maybe? 6 of Pentacles. Here's our 7. 8, working hard. 9. So it's very female-centered, isn't it? 10. Page. He reminds me, I don't know if you had them everywhere else in the world, but in the UK we had these probably 25 years ago. People had them in their cars, and you had little like a button that you'd pump, and they'd flash you a moonie. You stick them in your car, basically, in the rear window of your car. That just reminded me of that. There's our knight. We've got bear walking alongside. Or what looked like a bear walking alongside. Are we still there? Doesn't look like a bear. No, it's trees. How weird. Although I can see the trees, it looked like the ghost of a bear kind of walking alongside in amongst the trees. And there's our king and queen. Oops. Ace of Wands. It's a bit ritualistic, isn't it, in its appearance, the Ace of Wands. Here we have our 2s. She's sending out a smoke signal with her wand. There's our 3. You get less feeling of that RWS ship has sailed with that one, don't you? And we've got an element there as well on the table. Here's our 4, the harmony, celebration, happiness card. 5 of Wands. Not sure what the obstacle is in that card. Everyone looks like they're walking off in different directions. 6 of Wands. 7 of Wands. 8 of Wands. What are we doing here then? We've got people waving wands around. Somebody paying for something. Is the car broken down? Somebody's taking it away. 10 of Wands. She's gathering sticks, but she's dropping some by the looks of it, so maybe too many for her to carry. So that kind of burdeny feeling. Here's our element. It's that fire-breathing dragon. The novice. The initiate. And the elder. So they're males. So I wonder if the ace is going to be males as well. The swords. So here's our ace. It's like sword in the stone-esque here, isn't it? So the wands was a stone slab with a red cloth, and here we've got wood and yellow. Where's the 2 gone? 2, 3, 4. She's not quite resting though. She's defensive in her resting. She's got exceptionally long legs and arms. Just me. And Barbie-like ankles and feet. 5 of swords. Now, are you guys seeing this one as a challenge or back to back together we'll win? A joint effort or a challenge? Here's a 6, 7, 8. So still fairly standard. I wonder what this means. 9. I think I'd get a new headrest. 10. Oh, no, so we've got our element. So we have a fairy. Naked fairy at that. Then we have our novice. Just realised that this is kind of not focusing, is it? Sorry. You can't see the finer detail, but you get an idea of what's in the card. Here's our initiate. Elder. So yeah, they are kind of masculine, aren't they? Apart from the element. Yeah, that's definitely man. So that must be then to depict the masculine and feminine elements of the deck. Okay. So I mean, as you know, it's standard Lo Scarabeo cardstock. Shuffles as you're going to expect it to shuffle. Nothing new. It has slightly bowed. That's just as it came. We'll sort itself out. Quite like that card, I have to say, with the burning of the books. Reminds me of Footloose. Is that the name of the film? It is, isn't it? With Kevin Bacon, Footloose. They're all burning the books because the religious sector don't want you to learn about things to do with the big wide world. I just wanted to have a look at this one. So I think what I discovered was it's thematic, so it's numerological rather than just per card. Let's see. Swords. So we are looking at more than the nature of those things that are mental and intellectual. Perception and wisdom are points in case where arguments and stress arise in our lives. There are also energies which come from our mental sphere. And then the 5, number dealing with challenge. It is a turning point. 5 represents the moment when situations cease to be as difficult and begin to turn in our favour. This does not mean we are finished. Okay, so they're working together then in response to this deck. So their challenge is not as bad as it looks. They're now working together in tandem, so therefore they can face it. And, you know, problem shared is problem halved scenario. There we go. So that was the deck. I hope you enjoyed it. Until the next one, take care. Bye-bye.